Welcome to Booked and Busy, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of your favorite authors one book at a time. Each week we will dissect bestsellers and explore the stories that have captured our hearts and minds. Whether you're a casual reader or an avid reader, our reviews and conversations will spark your imagination and inspire your next read. Join us as we hear from fellow book lovers and share our insights on themes, conflicts, and hidden gems. Hi everybody and welcome back. On today's episode, we will be discussing and reviewing This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. But before we start today's discussion, we have a few reminders. We will be reviewing Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan on our next episode, followed by Real by Kennedy Ryan. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram at bookandbusypod_ for updates and additional announcements. And for any collabs, please DM us through Instagram or email us at bookbusypodcast@gmail.com. So I want to start off our show today with asking you this question, Tanisha. After a breakup, when do you think is the right time to start back dating? Because I have this assumption that people who jump into relationship after relationship after relationship, I don't think they're secure within themselves. Like, they got issues. So what do you feel, or when do you feel is the right time to start back dating?
I think it varies depending on the situation and how long y'all been together. I think that counts. Like, you do need to give yourself at least a month or so. I would say at the least a month of a cooling period just to get back to yourself. Maybe longer than that, though, depending on how long y'all been together. But I know some people readjust, faster than others. Some people can get over it a little faster and they're ready to start dating again. But others, like, if you've been with somebody for like 5-6 years, you probably need like 6 months or so to cool off before you go hopping into another relationship. But just dating, just talking to people and seeing what's out there, like, you could take you a little month.
Yeah, I'll say with that, like you said, it just depends on, I guess, the nature of the relationship you probably left. For example, if you were in a long-term relationship and you probably checked out probably like a year prior and you've been trying, depending on your circumstances, you've been wanting to leave. So you probably might ease back into dating a little bit more sooner than expected. But I'll give an example. This is what weird to me. Like, Carly and Sierra off Love and Hip Hop.
Yes.
Yes, they stay married or they stay with somebody.
Or engaged, and then they break up, and then 6 months later you with somebody else, and I really believe he's the one. Like, okay, girl. Like, yes. Those are examples of people who need some time, some cooling off time in between, because they just be jumping from relationship to relationship, and each one, this is the man that's the one for real. This man gets me. He doesn't.
And
we
then
don't know
you
that
can
yet.
Even look at them and you can tell, nah, this ain't, like, what are you doing? It's okay to admit that you're lonely, but don't just be jumping into the next person's arm. Like, I get it, you lonely.
You don't even know what you don't like about them yet. You haven't had time to get to know them. So those are good examples of needing to take a cooling off period.
Let's go ahead and jump into This Could Be Us. You want to start off with a quick summary?
Yes. So when we last left off on Before I Let Go, we saw Soledad Barnes and Hendrix. Those were Yasmin's friends. And so this book focuses on Soledad. And, she was married to that white man. She ends up divorcing him because he ends up doing this fraud stuff at his company, stole like $6 million. And so she ends up divorcing him. She found out he was cheating on her. He got a side baby, all of that. And this is basically the story of Soledad rebuilding herself after all of that happened. She meets this man, Judah Cross, who actually is the accountant who put her husband in jail and found out that he was lying and scheming and stealing. And she falls in love with him, even though at the beginning she's acting like she's not. You know how they gotta do in these books. So they go on this long train of falling in love. Oh, Judah has 2 autistic children, and I fully believe he's a high-functioning autistic person himself. And they're in a relationship and happy, and she's doing that wavery thing. Should I or shouldn't I? Plot twist, she does. So, yeah, they fall in love and all of that stuff. Soledad lives happily ever after. Her criminal husband flees the country with his new baby and the side secretary that he was sleeping with.
We're going to get into that because I didn't like that ending.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't either. But at the end, we see Soledad with her new man, Judah, and they're in Morocco talking about their love and whatnot, child.
Yeah, I know we skipping ahead. I ain't like that ending. This man got to go down for these crimes.
It was a lot of stuff I could not stand. First of all, because I have to just get this out. Why did you marry him? What is it that you saw in him? I know she did all this. This wasn't the person that I married. It's like, no. Because this stuff with Edward, these are personality traits. These are character flaws. So something in you felt special when this racist mama having white man came and chose you at Cornell. You felt special. And so you went ahead and married him because you was with him for 20 years. If you look at this man's mannerisms, these are stuff that's inherent in you. These aren't things that change and you just evolve into becoming a terrible person. So you ignored them for a long time is what I was getting. And I must be for real. It took me to like part 2 of this book to finally get on Soledad's side. Up until then, I was like, I don't feel no ways tired. I don't feel bad for you. Because what you married him for?
I like how in the first book, and Before I Let Go, they started talking about this before they jumped into This Could Be Us, because she stated in the last book, I think my husband cheating on me. It was just something quickly like bloop, and it was just like I knew that was gonna be like next story when they said Soledad's book was coming out. I just felt, I couldn't relate to Soledad. So at the beginning, we do see that Edward has been closed in by the FBI. All this action has then happened and started happening after a Christmas party when she first met Judah. Party. Like, why you picked him? Like, why him? Like, out of all people, the person who put your husband in jail.
Like
I guess is that how the universe works?
Yeah, that middle daughter kind of had a point. Like, Mama, this is weird.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, y'all make a cute couple, but it's like come on now. Like, this the wrong situation, wrong man. Like, I understand this was a completely random man that you fallen in love with, but this is somebody who put your husband in jail.
Destroyed your life.
Right. And then tried to offer her some groceries. Like, I can go get you some groceries. No, my accounts are froze. Like, no.
You didn't send her groceries.
Yeah.
You gonna come over like I don't want nothing bad for you and your children. Thank you. You just froze all my accounts and ruined my life.
Yeah, you just inconvenienced the heck out of me and my children. Now I'm worried about how they gonna go to their school and more stuff. Where we gonna live? What we gonna eat?
That was crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. You didn't think about none of this before you even put him in jail. So I don't really want to hear it. I'm like, like, get on somewhere. Get out my face. Like, when he was being closed in or whatever, the thing that I didn't really like about Soledad, I don't want to say I didn't like it, but it's just a thing of I don't feel like grown women should just be solely dependable on a man. Because you get put in positions like something may happen, like how you said last episode, you might choke on a chicken bone and something might happen to you tomorrow and I don't know how to pay the bills or where our money is coming from. It's and stuff like that.
Anything.
Yeah, she was just so like dumbfounded by everything, and I'm just like, no, you kind of put yourself in that position on your own.
And that's what makes me think. And she has a college degree. She went to Ivy. Cornell's a good school. Right. You put yourself in this position. You were happy to be chosen. You saw all his flaws before. That's what it's giving me, but you just ignored it until it actually came to your front door and started affecting you. Like, I'm sorry, that was just gross to me. I feel like Edward made her vote for Donald Trump and she went and actually did it. That's what she gives. Like, that's what she gives. No, they didn't say that. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what she gives. Like the wife who's like, I don't really support this, but I'm supporting my husband, so I'm gonna go with where he goes. Like, she just gives me that, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's just like, she stood up for herself, whatever.
You know, she started building herself back up. That's when I started liking her again. But for the first half of this book, I was like, girl,
I just don't care for that. That's why she made me my head hurt the first half of this book. Because you have 3 daughters. You just solely just dependent on this guy and your husband. And one, he's already questionable. He's already being a jerk to you and more. I just feel like you just need to be a little bit more knowledgeable of your assets and stuff going on. I get you a stay-at-home mom, but you need to be putting some money to the side for yourself and, doing some things. Don't just do that.
He got multiple accounts that you don't know about. Multiple offshore accounts. Then he's also able to cheat and make a baby and have a family. Like, no, baby, your blinders was on.
Yeah, you was just like, la, 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 la. So that's why I didn't really care for Soledad the first half of the book. Now,
I did not.
When we first were introduced to Judah, I didn't really like him neither. And I felt like he was dirty macking in a sense. Like,
kind of. Yeah. Like, yeah. I also think Judah is like autistic though. Like, I think he's just high functioning. But I think that he doesn't understand a lot of social cues and whatnot, because I think that he didn't care. I think he honestly didn't care and didn't see a lot of the stuff he was doing, because like the outsider looking in, you just took this man down and now you going after his wife. That's weird. That's dude. Very. Like, he didn't even wait. Like, he getting her job.
No,
and all this
no
stuff. I think
empathy.
they waited like a few months. stalking her social media. Like, no, just don't see none of that. Nothing wrong with any of this. Like, how you're destroying the social fabric of all of this. And then you just go swoop in on that man's wife.
I can honestly tell when they first started talking about his kids being autistic, and then they said he was saying that they may have gotten it from him. I could tell because just how his career and just how smart he is and how like detail oriented he is. Like, that's how he was able to take that man down, because he was so like diligent in all his work. So
and Edward got the nerve to be mad. Like, he's mad at this man for doing his job. He's sitting there cussing him out at a dinner table in front of his daughter. It's like, you mad at him because you stole.
And then he doing all that, talking like that about the man in front of the daughters, and now the daughters got in their head like, what's his fault?
Right?
No, which I get it, but that's another thing. I'm sick of these daughters not knowing all the facts. I'm so sick of that theme.
And you didn't get popped in your mouth.
Yes. She was about to make me.
Theme. It is.
Yeah, it's like that was the same thing in the last book.
Oh my God.
These children are getting on my nerves. Like,
it's all in the way. Stay in the child's place. So Dad was better at that clapping her girls than Yasmin was, though. I will say that. She wasn't going for none of that. She was still like, motherly and whatnot, but Yasmin was doing all this soft parenting. She let that child talk to her any kind of way. So Dad, like, get back to this table. Right. I'll hit you in the head with a chonkla. They be throwing them little sandals.
Right, and I wish parents would go ahead, and I don't really like that when people be sitting on details. Go ahead and say everything that's going on. They're of age. Go ahead and tell them they daddy is a low-down gringo.
They need to know. I wish she would have told them about that baby and everything earlier. Let them know all of it, because y'all sitting here defending him, trying to go and see him. You don't even know what's going on.
Right.
I'd have told him about that baby immediately. I got back in that car as soon as we in the jail parking lot still. I'm like, I just ran into your daddy's baby mama, and they got a baby. Like, I would tell them. Like, tell them kids.
Yeah, that's immediate. I'm going to turn them into... I know people don't be wanting to do that with their children's fathers, but I'm finna turn him into the villain immediately.
He is the villain.
Yeah, like, in their eyes, I want them to see this is a horrible man.
She's not finna turn him to a villain to the kids.
Yeah, they might think he just, daddy. Nope, he's a villain.
They do.
He's messed up. Let me go to this first question. We started off strong on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was just this whole little thing of this could be us. There's a lot going on in this book. There's a lot more action going on in this versus Before I Let Go. Before I ask this first question, which one do you like more, Before I Let Go or This Could Be Us?
Oh, I think This Could Be Us, just because it had more going on. I loved Before I Let Go, though, but the story was just about Yaz and Josiah. It wasn't all this extra stuff going on in the background. This one had a lot more extra stuff going. And it kept, and it kept revealing stuff that was very cool. So I think This Could Be Us I like a little bit more.
When it started going to that scene when the FBI was closing in on them, I'm like, what book am I reading? I'm like, hold on. Okay, but let me ask this question. We touched on this a little bit, but I'm going to just ask to get some dialogue going. It says, the attraction between Soledad and Judah at the Christmas party is instant. What were your thoughts about Soledad as a married woman in a troubled marriage feeling that pull to another man?
Don't stop, giddy. I wanted her to do it because Edward was awful from the second. Then they had that fight right before that party. Oh, I wanted her to go after it. Girl, you better look back up. You could look. You ain't dead. Right. I was with all of it.
I thought that interaction when they were at the Christmas party, that interaction between Soledad and Judah's kid was so cute.
That was cute. That was. So and that's when I knew they gonna end up together and he's gonna love her. Because she knew how to interact with his kid. The kid obviously took a liking to her, which is out of the blue for kids like that. But I knew after that Christmas party, they gonna end up together.
Yeah. Even the
the Rubik's Cube, baby.
Yeah, girl, you these nicknames. It was when they were at the when Soledad came to their house, and he automatically knew who Soledad was, and I was like, oh, you remember her? Like, I just thought that was such a significant thing, and you can tell she's just how she is. She just gives mother. She just gives soothing person. That's what she gives me, just mom. Just that's what she.
And I know
just
that
gave.
had to be a relief for Judah, because poor baby, he was trying his best to still figure out how to raise his sons and still like take them around people and whatnot. That was probably a breath of fresh air. You have this woman that you don't have to coach that much. So
yeah, I can just imagine how tough it is just having children that are on the
they had two
spectrum.
of them. Twins.
But one was more severe than the other one.
Yeah, the twins though. Still, that's a lot, child.
Right. Okay. Let me go on to this next question. It says, at one point, Hendrix mentions being surprised someone as driven as Soledad never wanted a career. Soledad pushes back a little, saying she never wanted to work outside her home, and articulates the vocational validity of being a homemaker. How does that viewpoint challenge cultural ideas about women and ambition?
That's real. That was very real.
I mean,
they do treat stay-at-home moms like they're not doing anything, but they running the whole house, and people take it for granted.
You
and
know,
like
I read a stat that said that stay-at-home moms, it was like way more than 40 hours a week. It's like a ridiculous, it's like a ridiculous number, like on average, that they said it was.
And it's like one of my good friends, she's at home right now, but she got 2 under 2 right now. But she's done with school, but the man is out there working. She's at home all the time, but it's not like she just sitting at the house, looking at Pinterest. Like, you got to sit there, cook, clean. You watching these babies. You got to go do whatever it takes to take. Babies by themselves are a lot, the children.
And so she's looking after all the children and stuff.
All of that. And then,
your grocery
unlike
shopping.
the man's job, yours doesn't stop at 5 or 6 o'clock. You doing this all night, like around the clock, to them kids go to sleep and until they wake back up. Like,
and you expect me to still have food on the table and stuff.
Like, yeah, it's definitely a job. Like, America doesn't recognize it as a job, but stay-at-home moms have a definite job.
Yeah, I always said that I like working, and I wouldn't mind being like stay at home, but I don't think it would be something like I would enjoy, because I don't like stuff being expected of me. Like, some days I don't want to cook. Like, I don't want to be expected to have 3 meals on the table every day. Like, that's just
like, why we can't take turns?
Yeah, and then, but the thing is, that's not going to be expected because you at home all day. You see what I'm saying? Your husband is at work.
And Edward was a jerk about that too. Like, boy, doggone well she's not just sitting at this house, like this huge house that she's maintaining by herself, while you out here cheating with the secretary, and you sitting there talking about, I know you have things to fill out your day. Like, she's just a woman of leisure. Like, you helping with these kids.
No, I need something else of my own thing going on. That wouldn't be my sole identity of staying at home, being just Susie Maker housewife. Yeah, it'll make me mad. Honestly, it'll make me so. And then people lose themselves when they do that.
Yes.
So
now you're just mom. Like, to everybody, you're just a mom.
All you talking about your kids,
your own person. Yep.
And that's the only thing you're talking about.
No.
Like, yeah.
I don't think that would fulfill me either.
Yeah, and that's how people be getting, like, depressed and stuff. So
yeah,
I don't. But back to the question, they were saying, Soledad said that she never wanted to kind of like work outside the home, which is fine. That's your preference, but it's just what all comes with it. That's why you in this
situation, though, darling.
Exactly.
That's why the FBI came kicking in your door when you have no idea why.
Right, and all your accounts got froze. So, I mean, I don't know. Times have changed. I know way back then. And that's another thing, too. You remember way back, I saw this TikTok, and it said how grandparents, they stay married for like 50 years or so. And somebody brought up, your grandma stayed with your granddaddy for 50-some years because she couldn't get no damn accounts, and she didn't have no money to spend on her own. So that's why she stayed with him for so long. Right.
Because they couldn't own property or nothing, like, without a husband.
So times are just different now. So, I mean, and then again, like, also, it's just that same thing of you don't know how bills are paid, what accounts, like, it comes out. Like, you're just living. You don't have no knowledge of what's going on. So, hey, if you want to be just Susie Homemaker or whatever, just make sure you got your ducks in a row in case some shit happen, in case your husband choke on a chicken bone or he get closed in on the FBI.
You just need to be informed.
Yeah, you can do that. Just make sure you know ins and outs. It needs to be a discussion there. So I will say that I'm not opposed to nobody wanting to be a stay-at-home wife and their husband pay all their bills. I'm not opposed to that at all. Like, shoot, I want a man to pay my bills. That's completely fine.
Absolutely.
However, you need to know just the ins and outs of what all is going on, like, of everything that you got tied together.
Let him leave y'all in the dark. You could be a stay-at-home mom as much as you want to. We support all women. Yeah, we support all women, but don't you let him leave you in the dark so the FBI can come running upside your door and you don't know what happened. Right. So just be informed, ladies.
Right.
But you can stay home with your kids. We don't mind.
Yeah, like that. You can do that. Like, shoot, you pay my bills. I don't like paying bills.
But don't be no fool.
Yeah,
don't be no fool.
I'm not finna be just clueless about what's going on.
Because she was just running around like, what? I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know anything.
Like, I can't buy groceries. Like, you know, I'm not finna put myself. I'm not putting myself in a position where I can't buy no food. I'm sorry. I'll be damned.
It's so accurate.
Yes, you couldn't even. That man had to grub up some food. Okay, let me move on to this next question. It jumps into this man's crimes. It says, as everything is revealed about Edward's embezzlement scheme, Soledad has to figure out a new path for herself and her girls, including how she'll leverage her skills to earning a living. Have you ever had to make a major life pivot? If so, how did you handle having to call on new skills or chart new territory? So she started this influencer path, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it worked for her. I guess.
It did. Yeah, and she wanted to be at home. Like, she can incorporate all her homemaking into her business. I thought that was genius. And I love that they described all of it. Like, how she, used her recipes and all this stuff. Then she's using stuff she's learned from just being a homemaker. Mm-hmm. And she turned it into a career. Like, 2025 is not the same as 2000. Like, 25 years ago, she wouldn't have been able to create no job out of just sitting at the house and cooking and cleaning. But She was able to turn it into a job because we have all these resources now. That was dope. I love it.
Yeah, she definitely had to suit up, and she had to do what she had to do because, of course, she have kids, she got bills, and she in this wealthy neighborhood. So it's like, look, I gotta make some shake. I gotta bet on myself and make something shake.
And I think that's when I stopped judging her. I was judging her all through the book, but once she started, like, doing her own thing, that's really when I started, like, regaining, okay, I like Soledad. Like, she did that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, at the beginning, child, I did not feel bad for her, and I'm so sorry to say it. Like,
yeah, because she ultimately learned.
Marrying that racist man with his racist mama. How you married to somebody and they mama don't like 2 out of 3 of your kids?
I mean, I think just the thing that just made Soledad a little bit more, better, it's just she learned from it. She just didn't continue to sit and mope around. Like I said, she had to put some big girl panties on and, get to work. She had to make something happen.
Going back to our opening conversation that you had asked, she actually did take a break before she jumped in with Judah, which I think was cool because she definitely needed that 8-month-long break.
She did. She was dating herself.
It was really close to a year before they actually hooked up and did all the stuff, which I think was completely necessary. Yeah. She was able to flush her system, and now you ain't bringing your bag.
Literally flush her system because boy had gave her chlamydia.
I forgot he gave her chlamydia too. Like, he just was doing all type of stuff.
Yeah, that's...
My God. But I'm glad she took that break, and now she's able to actually come back. I still want you. This ain't no rebound type stuff. Like, now we can want each other, even though he never stopped stalking her and whatnot. But that was cute.
You know how I try to picture characters and how they look. How you think Judah look like? What do you think he look like?
I picture him dark and fine. Like, I just picture, like, not super dark, like a little chocolate. But I think he has that, like... You remember the fuckboy haircut where they had, like, the top and it's just, like, a little curly? But it's like he got a little bit up top, but it looks like a little kit. With like, a little kit. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the fade. Like, that's what he gives to me, but, like, in a man way.
And then he wears glasses, too.
He wears glasses?
Yeah, you remember that's what Soledad was saying in the book. She has a glasses fetish. Like, that's her thing. Yeah.
Oh, my God, I completely forgot he wore glasses.
Yeah, but honestly, he gave nerve. I'm not gonna lie to you, like he did give nerve,
but he gave fine nerve.
Not like Jordan, like Uncle Bernie.
If Lance Gross put on glasses,
yeah, like how Lance Gross was in that movie. What's that damn Tyler Perry movie? Lance Gross is in with the counselor, with the marriage counselor. What's that movie called? Temptation.
I think it was called The Marriage. Okay.
It was called. Okay. It was. I think the play was called The Marriage Counselor.
The Marriage
or something
Counselor.
Like
it was
that.
Based on that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was called Temptation.
He showed him glasses.
Yeah, but
that's what he gets.
Why we keep using Lance Gross in the Skyland series? Like,
because he's fine and he fits the template. But then, like, if he looks like Lance Gross, who does Josiah look like? Because I got excited when they crossed paths in that barbershop.
Yeah, it was. I like how they were using the characters from that book. I like how she's keeping that community. So I'm curious.
Because I want a Preach story. Like, I know that's random, but I want a story about Preach. Like, I would like to see, you know, him, his whole deal. Like, you a barbershop man for all these affluent people. I know you got some stories.
Yeah, I like how they did like a little crossover episode. It was
that
like
was
that.
Cute. That was crossover episode. That was cute.
It was giving That So Sweet Life of That's So Raven or something.
Did you see how they mentioned Vashti when they were talking about Vashti? It was like, and that's all we go say about that. Like, they was like icing her out.
Right. Forget her. Next question. Inez is definitely the daddy's girl of the bunch. Did you sympathize at all with her perspective? Did you find yourself frustrated with her persistent desire to have a relationship with Edward even once she knew what he'd done? Is that realistic, complicated, or what are your thoughts?
Yes, I had an attitude with Inez because you need to shut up. And then you just seen what just happened. And you still want to sit here and bring your daddy up to me, so dad is better than not of me. So I'd be like, you finna hush right now because you saw what just happened. You see all this stuff,
your
all
daddy
that
is
after
thief.
school stuff you want to pay for, the stuff that you can't go and do no more, that was your daddy's fault. Now sit down and eat your turkey.
Yeah, like, your dad's a thief and he had another baby. You have another sibling. That's how you have to talk to her.
Yeah, she needed aggression because that's how I thought
that's how you had to talk to her. That's how I felt like you have to talk to Deja too. Like, let me tell you something, because my patience is very, very little. I have no patience. So as soon as like the second time she would have been trying to talk to me about her daddy, let me tell you something, little girl. Your daddy is a thief. I don't need to have no daughters. I lack any type of soft.
I can so see that though. Like, nah, that's enough, little girl.
Like now,
like you got one time.
You know what Monique said? Now you done pissed me off. Like, okay, let me tell you something. Since you just act like you know everything, you think you know everything.
Let me tell you exactly what you need to know, since we want to sit here and Cape. Then he left the country without them girls.
Exactly.
Like, he leave no
so that's another thing.
To his
that's what I'm gonna tell you. That's your daddy's.
I would tell him.
Yeah.
You know your daddy gone with his new baby and his new family.
New family. He abandoned us. I know you're not supposed to say that about
his family that his mama actually approved of, with his lily white girlfriend and the lily white baby.
And
like,
they had red hair to make
a family. Like, that's crazy. I couldn't stand her for marrying that man.
Okay.
I held that against her.
Yeah, even Soledad's sisters were saying they was surprised.
They all knew he was a loser.
Yeah, they was all like, "We was surprised you brought him home," type of thing.
Like, the mama, before she passed, the mama didn't like him. Like, girl, you getting all these red flags. And then I remember there's a specific part in the book where she's like, she felt good at one point being the girl that everybody else was envious of at Cornell because she felt chosen. Which I was like, that was my whole point. Like, yeah, you felt chosen, so you ignored all the fuck shit that he brought to the table. Like, he always had these character traits. You just didn't care.
You know what they be saying about dating? And I'm not saying this. I'm not being racist or anything like that. I don't want this to be flagged or nothing.
Pour it on. Go for it.
You know, they say when you play in snow, you don't know how that's gonna go. So that's why you can't be dating white folks. You still
That's true though, because this same scenario could happen in real life, and the man actually comes home and he just murders his whole family and gets it over with. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen.
These scenarios it is even in the media right now of people who be messing with white people and their careers go down the drain.
Or we find them in the trunk of their car or something.
Yeah, it's something just
like,
crazy.
Come on.
I remember when I was younger, I probably was like probably in 7th or 8th grade, and I said something just out the blue. Like, I don't know, we was watching TV or something. My dad was in the living room, and I was like, I wonder how it is to date a white man. That's what I said. I said it out loud like that. And my daddy immediately was like, what do you have in common with a white man? He got, like, you know how them cartoons be having them smoke coming out their ears. And I'm not saying, like, I don't like white people. I don't want to say that. I'm not saying that. My daddy was telling me, he was like, what do you have in common with a white man? I was like, whoa, I know never to bring home a white man ever in life. We were just sitting here chilling. We were chilling.
I was asking a question.
And it wasn't even a question that's supposed to be answered. It was like almost like a rhetorical question.
Oh my God.
I was like, "Ooh, just you know what? Just stay away from white folks."
So good.
Just like, okay.
So what do you have in common?
Like bass started coming out of his voice and everything. I was like, "What do you have in common with a white man?" It's like, whoa. Oh shit.
Oh, I cannot.
Okay.
Pull myself together.
All right. We be extra silly today.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, I'm back. Okay,
Let's
I'm
just
back.
be a listen. When you play in the snow, you don't know how that's gonna go. So you better have you a snowsuit or something. Like, heck no. Yeah, it's just like, whoa.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
Yeah. It was like his whole, I swear, like he turned red and everything. I was like, oh my God. It's like, goodness. Okay.
What do you have in common?
I mean, he made him. Like, what do you, like, I couldn't relate to no white man.
He did. It was like so out of the blue.
And I always said too, like, this is when I got older or whatever. If I dated a white man, he would have to have like he would have to have John B vibes or like
black qualities. Like that's the kind of white man that I like. You know, I'm not trying to be funny. Like Candace's husband. Like you gotta have like you gotta behave like you've been around black people, and you're the kind of white person who also doesn't really like those kinds of white people. Like act like you've been over here before, and I could tell that you've been around people like us before. Yeah. And I'm cool with you. Like I could date you then.
Even like Travis Kelce before he started dating Taylor Swift. And
yes, because you've been around, and I can tell you've been around.
Yeah, you've been around some niggas. Like that's what I want.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. Even like some people probably might know who I'm talking about. You know Dante DiVincenzo. He played for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but he played for the Knicks. Look him up. But he's that kind of white boy.
I'm finna look him up right now.
Yeah,
What's his last name?
DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo. You can just look up the roster for the Timberwolves.
Hello.
Oh, he came up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
he did. He's been around the niggas.
Yeah, even like how his hairline
look at that haircut.
Like you can, yeah.
I was gonna say, look at that haircut. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, look at his haircut. He's been around the niggas.
Right. That I may just consider, but I need to know you've been around some. You know, I need to know we can relate to some
Trump
sort
voter.
of. Yeah.
You on our side. Yeah. Like, oh, absolutely.
I need to know we can relate a little bit. Yeah, we can relate a little bit. Now, if you just you just Trump supporter and you just like Soledad sister said you a gringo, like no.
Yeah, no.
You're a white man. No.
Like you need to be able to get with it. Like I shouldn't have to teach you all the stuff. Like you done been around and you know, like I give you a little shot.
Right. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Changing subjects. Okay. One of the most poignant scenes occurs in the game store when Aaron has a meltdown. In this sequence and throughout the story, what do we learn about Judah as a father, about the two boys and how they depend on each other? Judah is patient. Judah is very patient. That's all I can really say.
And you can tell this wasn't his first rodeo, and I loved how the other twin was trying to kind of have his back, even though he's freaking out a little bit too. But you can see how much they depend on each other and how both of those boys depend on him. But he was able to center that child and ground him. And I think that takes a lot of courage because you out here in public, you've obviously done this a few times before. You know people was staring and everybody over there looking crazy.
Right.
But he was very patient and he was able to calm that child down. But it gave you a lot of insight into like how used to this he is.
Right. Because even with dealing with the, the meltdown that he has, parents, you have to take your kids to these places so they can have experience and exposure going into stores. So it has to happen. So I will say he just showed that, like you said, it wasn't his first rodeo. He knows how to, deal with it. But in his head, you can see that he was low-key kind of panicking because he a little autistic himself. So it was just kind of like like in his head, he like, oh shit, like I deal with this.
Like, how noisy.
Yeah, like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I would say it just showed his patience overall. How did you feel about his relationship with his ex-wife? Because I know we talked about that before in the previous book.
I thought that was real cute. Okay, now I have a question. Mm-hmm. The ex-wife is married to a white man, correct?
I don't know.
Did that feel like a white man? Did that feel like a white man to you?
It didn't feel like a white man to me.
It felt like a white man to me. I could be wrong. They could have described him as black and I just missed it. Yeah. But it felt like it gave to me that she was married to a white man, but that he was comfortable around the kids and stuff. He was just good with them. But he might have been black. I don't want to sit here and call that man white and he's black. That's what he gave this little short white man. And just gives
the
that
significant part of it was his ex-wife is remarried, and they all get along fine.
And that's what I loved. I thought that was beautiful because a lot of people don't end amicably like that when they divorce. Like, it's usually some tension and whatnot. But they sitting there trying to find him dates and stuff. They happy that he's actually found somebody, which I love that. That's how it should be.
Like I said, you got to be super mature to do things like that. It just showed their maturity, their overall maturity. And you can just tell that
my daddy didn't want to see my mama with nobody else.
Oh, Lord.
Another one of my childhood trauma slip-ins.
Yeah, that's usually how that happens, though. Like, usually when drama occurs or drama happens, it's usually because somebody want each other. They usually want each other still or something of that nature. So obviously they didn't want each other no more.
Stuff.
Yeah, I don't like that. No, like I said, you gotta be super. They just mature. Overall,
they were. I love how they both came to the conclusion, like, we don't hate each other. We were just like, the relationship was great for what it was, but we don't hate each other. We just know that we're not in love.
Yeah,
like,
it's starting to move on. Hell.
Yep, they handled that real well. I like Tremaine.
Yeah, so that was very, very adult of them. You can tell they in their 40s, so they ain't got no choice but to be grown.
They are.
You know,
like, we looking at it from our viewpoint.
Yeah, we thinking of it in like a late 20s perspective or something like that. No, when you're 40, 50 years old, there ain't no reason to be doing this.
You better have it figured out.
Yeah. Like, right. Come on now.
Get it together.
Right. Okay. Next question. Okay, we about to get into the relationship. It says, once Soledad and Judah pursue the attraction between them, it's a very passionate physical relationship. Did you consider this a slow burn? How would you characterize their physical and emotional intimacy as the story progresses?
It was definitely a slow burn. It dragged out a lot before I was finally like, girl, go on over there. You know you gonna do it anyways. Like, but the next Christmas party, they ended up kissing and stuff, and I guess that kicked it off. But it was definitely a slow burn, and it was too stretched out. Like, you know you like each other, just get together.
But
what you hiding
it had to be a slow burn because she ain't divorced yet. So it's like, you know.
That's true.
She had to get her life together. Yeah, I know she wanted him, but yeah.
I'm glad that she did take that, like, 8-month, little break, and she went back after him afterwards. But it was definitely a slow burn. I was glad they finally did get together when it finally happened.
I feel like even if they didn't even get together, and then they could have still just been super good friends.
Yeah. I don't think he wanted to be her friend at all, though. Like, he got that one-track mind going on. He's like, nope, I want her.
That's how you think he sounds?
I do. I think he's very monotone. I think he gives always obsessive. Definitely obsessive, but I think he's one-track minded. Absolutely, like when he got to focus, he's going forward. He ain't thinking about nothing else. That's why he was stalking her social media,
and that's why he took that husband down. He got every single detail, receipts and all.
It worked. You stole that man's wife.
That's why I say he was dirty backing.
You know, you stole that man. I bet he was super motivated after he met her. He like, oh, I'm taking this motherfucker down.
He didn't with that. I thought this was a really cool career that she highlighted for that man.
What?
Like being a forensic I didn't even know you could do stuff like I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's like I've heard of it, but I didn't see it in action. I've never seen exactly what they do, but I was like, this works perfectly for that, and I'm glad that he was the one who took him down. Now that was a little twist for me at the beginning. That was a nice little twist. You find out the man that your husband's been crying about.
They've been on to him.
This fine nerd.
Yeah, they had been on to him. Like, he was well figured out.
He was mad.
Yeah, I don't like people who get mad when you get caught doing something. That's so dumb.
Lie. I want to blame it on the person doing their job. And I really feel like he wanted to call him black. He wanted to call him a nigga real bad, didn't you? I could feel it in my bones.
Right.
He was like, who does he think he is? Nigga coming in here questioning me. That's what you wanted to say, Edward. I know what you wanted to say.
Yeah, it's all his fault. No, your company hired him because they suspected that you were stealing. You're a thief.
Right?
Like, it ain't his fault.
$6 million? Come on,
you got greed. And I'm putting this on record too. Like, he did nothing or nothing like that. And then when people, you know how people be scammed and stuff. Like, okay, you can get away with it. $1,000, here or there.
Yes.
But you get greedy. That's how you get caught.
Kept going back. I remember Funky Dineva be like, he used to be an accountant. He like, if you gonna steal them people's stuff, steal a little bit and don't go back. Yeah. You don't keep going back to steal.
Just like, I'll set it off. Once they robbed that bank the first time, they should have left it alone.
Like, why y'all keep going back, like, over and over? You don't keep hitting the same lick.
And then you making mistakes as well, too, when you keep doing stuff like that. You get sloppy.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
you do. And comfortable.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, it's always people who get greedy. Like, get yourself enough to kind of like get your life back on track, but don't when you know.
And then stop.
Just like that lady.
Summer House.
Right, who was that lady off of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the one who went down for like all that fraud? Jen Shaw.
And then she sat on there lying the whole season.
And
like,
she had
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, she had no sympathy. Like, that's why I was like, take her ass to jail.
Right? Like, you lied.
Yeah.
So you lied.
Take her to jail. Take her to jail. Now, that's what I don't like, when people don't be having no type of like sympathy. I forgot about Jen. Yeah. Take her down. And then you on this show, you're putting yourself out there. You already like, you're dumb. You're dumb. So
that was very dumb.
Yeah. So when rich people do it all the time, it's just, well, you know, when you get greedy, that's
take
when
a little bit. Yeah.
Even with that PPP shit that was going on at the time, like, it was Carly Red's husband, Arkansas Mo.
Oh, yeah, he sure did.
He buy Ferraris and all types of stuff. Like, dude, you're going to jail.
You're supposed to be supporting your trucking company, and you're out here buying Rolexes.
You're going to jail, bro. You're done.
Immediately.
Yeah, so he about to be up underneath jail. Even though I feel like money is such a energy thing, universal thing, I don't feel like people should go to jail, like, serve so many years in jail for. I don't feel like, maybe he probably gets a year into probation or something, but I don't feel like people should be doing 40 years for no tax fraud. Like,
absolutely
I think
not.
that's,
I agree. Your life should not be ruined over no money.
Yeah, it's murderers and molesters out here. Like,
yes, getting 5 years, getting 10 years for raping people. Like, honey, we can let them go. They took a little money. Just tap them on the hand a little bit. You definitely shouldn't be getting no more than a couple years for laundering some money or fraud.
But just because I did not like Edward, he need to be in jail for like 25 years or so.
He did. And I wish they would have gave the FBI that extra evidence when she had that hunch, like there's another pocket of money that he has hidden away for that lady and that baby. I would have gave it to the FBI.
I didn't like how at the end, how they let him just get away. Judah talked about some, he's gone, and he didn't want to say anything.
I want him out of your children's life and away from your children. Judah, you hush your mouth and go into the FBI and tell them that there's some more money sitting here. That's your job.
That don't even, like, but they should have. I think they should have caught on to that. It shouldn't be his sole responsibility to report that. That's them being careless if they let him go away. If they let him escape the country. So I thought that was a bit strange. Maybe they'll like touch on it just like a little tad bit in the next book or whatever. You know how they like. Oh, I definitely feel
like we're gonna hear some more about this.
Yeah, probably not like a lot, but it'll just be like a little ding, like a little thrown in there, like he ended up going to jail or something. I don't know, or they caught him or something. All right,
they need to.
Right. Next question. Is there value in seeing a woman in or approaching middle age being this sexual? Why do you think we don't see it more? When you get older, you become more sexual, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't see it because they're grown and they know how to control themselves, like in public and around people. Like, they're not trying to be sex workers, you know, like putting their pussy all over the internet and whatnot. Like, they're mature now. So I think it's definitely a thing. Like, I don't even find it odd that they're approaching 40. I didn't even look at it from that lens. Like, you see it like an older couple and they're starting to date again. That's not old. Like, it's 40.
It's not 30, old at all. Yeah.
I could see if it was like 60 or 65.
Yeah, that's when you're like, old.
Now how does that look? Like, then I'd be like, okay, let's think about their age in this. But at 40, now they're just people dating.
Right. I'm even thinking now, I don't even feel like my mama old. Like, my mama 52. No, my mama 51.
That's not old at all.
That's not old.
At all.
Yeah. It's not old. I just feel like you old. You start getting old when you really can't drive for yourself. Shoot, like, no, because even now that I'm thinking about it, for example, I'll use Monica as an example. Since Monica has been in the spotlight since she was 16 years old, we have known her to be married, me in long-term relationships 3 different times on 3 different occasions. So when you're 40, I mean, you can start 2 different lives. I feel like I done had 2 different lives since I done became 18. Like, you changed. I don't think you being in your 40s is just like this thing. Like, you can start over and get remarried. Like, it's not a big deal.
Definitely not a big deal. You got time to be remarried and be married another 20 years if you want to at 40. That didn't even cross my mind, actually. Like, I just registered, okay, they're both like 40, 41, like, just to get an age bracket. But this isn't a young adult novel, not really. So
yeah, it's people for everybody
to be
out
adult
there.
age. Yeah. That didn't even register to me. Girl, do your thing.
It's midgets for midgets. It's tall people for tall people. Like, it's 40-year-olds for 40-year-olds. I don't feel like that's no big deal. Like I said, Monica, she was with C. Murder. Then she was with Rocco for like years, ended up having 2 kids with him. Then was with Shannon Brown, married to him for years, and got divorced again from him. She didn't get divorced again, just got divorced from. I don't think her and Rocco ever got married. But yeah, like, you can start over as many times as you want to. So that 40, you being in your 40s, it don't matter.
That ain't got nothing to do with it. Absolutely not.
Because I don't care how long I gotta be with you, I'll leave.
On everything, I leave. You got me messed up. I'll be 65 out here in the streets.
When your
like, what's going on?
When your parents were divorced and you said your dad didn't want to see your mama with nobody, was she like in another like relationship, or was she trying to move on?
Yep. She moved on and she got pregnant with my youngest brother, and my daddy hated it. He always, to this day, he still feels they supposed to be getting back together. He knows that he messed up.
Move on.
We like, Daddy, it's been 20 years since y'all divorced. You messed up twice. Y'all got married twice and you messed up twice. Leave that lady alone. We've been telling him leave that lady alone for years. Meanwhile, he has other women that he's in relationships with. I'm like, how does your girlfriend feel that you still chasing your ex-wife? That's the conversation we have with my dad on an almost yearly basis. Like, go leave her alone. I think because they got married and divorced twice, he think a third one is inevitable. So he just thought that they were gonna get back together. Even though my mama was in a full-fledged relationship, done had another baby, like, she don't want you no more. Like, so that's where they landed at. If anyone wanted to know.
This one definitely had more action. I just feel like, yeah, this had romance in it, but I feel like it had more action than romance. Because they were more, and Before I Let Go, they were just they were more cute, just more romantic.
And you preferred the romance of Before I Let Go. Yeah, I can see that. You was really rooting for them to get back together. Like, that was black love for real. Like, I could completely see that.
The vast majority of romance novels end with marriage and children. Judah and Saul have already experienced those things, and their future looks different. How did you feel about this somewhat unconventional happily ever after? How I felt about them towards the end, and they was in Morocco taking a vacation. Shoot, they just having fun. Like, wherever it ends up, it just, however this happens to go, it just goes. It didn't know high hopes for them. I hope they do, get married or whatever and have a long future together. But it's just like right now, how they left it, it's just like, okay, they enjoying each other's company.
It still doesn't give head over heels in love type thing. It just gives like still dating.
What would you overall rate this book?
If it's out of 5 stars, I'd give it 4. Because it did catch my attention, even though I didn't like Soledad in the first half. It got my attention, and it was really good and really well written and planned out. I give it a 4 out of 5.
This lady named Chan, she says, more romance like this, please, which sounds weird coming from me considering this had a women's fiction tint to it. But honestly, I'm just so over the cramming every whole smutty romance that's popular right now. I want more romances.
It's definitely more romance based than some books. I think both out of this whole series, she does tend to focus on the romance, not so much in this one as she did Before I Let Go, but she do a good job of working that in without it just being sex.
Okay, so before we wrap up, what do you think, or how do you think Hendrix's story is going to play out? Like, we know she probably more than likely gonna fall in love, but what do you think she's giving? What do you think this book is giving?
I think it's going to be like somebody that she hates at first. I think it's going to be because she's a strong-willed woman. Hendrix is going to meet a man who's not going. She's going to hate them at the beginning. Yeah, like, I feel like he's not going like he's a hard-ass kind of guy. But it's going to be somebody who can really rein her in, and she's not used to that. And I feel like it's going to, like, bust her head open. That's what I think Hendrix is going for. I'm actually really excited because she's going from being I didn't like her the most out of the friend group to being my favorite out of the friend group, and now I bangs with Hendrix. I like her. That's all for this episode. Thanks for hanging out with us, and be sure to tune in next time when we review Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan.